Hi, no, welcome.
Listen, you didn't sound enthusiastic at all. Whew.
Because my brain was trying to think. Okay. I am ready whenever you are.
Take one.
Hi, and welcome to Black in Business, where the possibilities are limitless. I'm your host, the Eunice,
And I'm Miss G.
and it is great to have you come back again for another great conversation on Black business ownership. We will continue our conversation with overcoming adversity. So we're talking about first steps into business ownership. And I think the first thing you do is you're changing your mindset, which we talked about that. You're changing parts about you. It's an inner struggle, it's an interchange and metamorphosis before it's outward. So we've talked about changing your mindset. We've talked about evaluating where you are. So we're going to continue the conversation, overcoming adversity. Overcoming adversity. I think we had a great conversation last week talking about some of the struggles, some of the hurdles that we have to overcome. Miss G talks a lot about failing forward. She said that more than once, and it's such a great piece to remember. In business ownership, you're going to have challenges, hurdles, failures. That does not mean you have to be out of it. So today we are going to add on to the conversation talking about overcoming adversity. I understand overcoming adversity. There are so many things that can work against you in business ownership, or you think it works against you. Some of it actually is just really building you up into who you are. I talked last week about an inner struggle, my inner struggles of having to learn how to see myself differently from what I originally thought, and having to speak differently and having to take on another layer of myself as a business owner. So sometimes that adversity comes from within. Of course, it is internalized, and I just want to know, what do you think? I did say something.
I agree. I do think that oftentimes that adversity comes from your core person, what you're used to, how you're used to functioning. I also think that a major part of that is your circle, right? The people that you're around, your immediate family. Oftentimes, your parents or whoever raised you, um, the voice that you're going to hear in your head is that person. So, um, while you're being raised, you're also being um, what's the word? You learn to pull a lot of different habits and um, sometimes circumstances from the environment that you're around. And so I feel like pursuing having a business in whatever field that you are in, you can have the same people that raised you, or the first cousin that you may be super close to, or the sister or brother that you may be super close to. Those will be the people that are doubting you the most. And those will be the people that are coming to you with negative comments, or why you shouldn't do this, or why this doesn't make sense, or why you should stick to that good job, why you shouldn't give up that good job, the benefits, and you having insurance, and or what does it look like, if people don't like what you have, and that will add to whatever fears you already had internally. And so I think one thing for people to remember is that those people love you. They were around you. They've been around you all your life. They do love you. But what you have to learn to separate is their fears from your perseverance.
Mm.
Separate their concerns from you following your path and you living out your purpose and you living your dream, because the two are not synonymous. Like, even though these people love you and they have good intentions, you don't have to live your life based off of what they say.
Yes,
And I
that's
think
true.
that's hard for people to come to terms with. You know, when your mama, of course, I talk about my mama often because I love her dearly. She is my biggest cheerleader. And thankfully, you know, my mama has always been the type of person, if she doesn't necessarily agree with what I'm saying, or she doesn't necessarily feel like it's a good idea, she's still gonna encourage me because she sees I'm excited about it. And you have some people that, because they're not excited about it, they can't support you and they won't be excited for you. And so then they crush all of your dreams because they don't see the vision. But I think I said before, you know, expecting somebody else to see your vision is like expecting a blind man to see what you looking at. Like, you can't expect the next person to see what God gave you because he didn't give it to them.
Mhm.
And you trying to explain to a blind man what a bouquet of flowers looks like and how vivid these roses are, how vivid these daisies are. He can't understand unless he had eyesight before and he remembers what flowers look like. He can't understand what you're seeing because he literally can't see the same thing. So I feel like you having a dream and you living out, walking out your purpose, or you pursuing whatever business you decide, hearing somebody else downplay that or criticize it, you can't take that personal because God put that vision in you. Whatever vision you have for your life and how you want to live it or how you want to raise your kids, whatever the case is, God gave that to you specifically.
Yeah.
And it's not saying that other people won't see it. You definitely can find your tribe and your community of people that will support you, that will see that vision, that will see the greatness in you and help to pull that out of you. But you can't expect for the people that raised you or the people that you grew up with, if they don't see it, like, don't be surprised because they only know an aspect of you. And when it comes to ownership or when it comes to having a business and being a business person, they don't know that side of you. It takes for you to walk that out and become that person. And then they see that side of you and then their mindset starts to change. But don't expect for them to get it right away because that's not often the case. I mean, you do have those special people, like I said, my mama, that's gonna be, listen, 10 toes down for you, regardless of what you're doing, as long as it's legal. I want to put it because my mama don't support foolishness. But as long as it's legal, then she like, girl, you got this. You can do this. Whatever you put your mind to, you can do it. And I'm so grateful that she has been that support because when I tell you, as long as I know my mama is in my corner, I'm not worried about what nobody else say because it's my
Yeah.
mama and she has raised me and she has always been that. So that's what I naturally expect from her. But I don't expect it from everybody else. Therefore, it doesn't alter the way that I see things. So I'm very grateful for that. But I do get that most people are swayed by people that they know, by people that they love. And it's totally understandable. I feel like, you know, you shouldn't, even if that has happened to you, you shouldn't beat yourself up about it because that's normal. It's just, again, it goes into the aspect of changing your mindset. You just have to learn to rewire your brain to know that these people are not attacking me because they don't love me. These people don't want me to fail. These people are unintentionally attacking my dream because they only know the path that they've walked out. And until they see something different, that's what they're going to believe. And you can't fault them for that. But you also can't let that stop you.
Yeah. I want to add on to that with my side of it because you bring up a good point of sometimes people have the best of intentions. They love you, and so they're speaking out of their fear of not wanting you to fail or not wanting you to, be harmed. But there is another side of it where you have people that literally don't care. They are being vicious. They don't believe in you. They don't see you for anything more than the idea that they have of you. And so, yeah, they laugh and they make fun of you. I have definitely had that experience in my lifetime. Um, like, I'm out here. I started doing missions when I was 19, and the Lord was just calling. I say he was calling me. It was just this He was impressing this on my heart to do this mission trip, and being raised in the church Sunday to Saturday, in the church on the weekend, Sunday, 3 services. What? Really, you have to say that? Because fun fact, I can't really read lips.
You
But
know,
yeah, being raised is Christ Holy Sanctified. Shout out, because I still love those people. Christ Holy Sanctified, but it's the Pentecostal denomination. But when I told people that the Lord was calling me to do this mission and this mission trip, do you know? And this was in the church, they were laughing. They laughed, they made fun of me, and it wasn't everybody. So if it wasn't you, I'm not talking to you, but there were people that were like, "Oh, well, Lord called you to that. Did he call you? He's calling you to like tie my shoe." Or and it was this was the senior saints.
yeah.
You've been delivered for a long time.
Well, that showed you they weren't delivered.
You gave the perception of being delivered a long time. And so it was a lot of adversity. And I've always what they would call walk just off the beaten path. So in their mind, in people's mind, I've always been off. I've always been different, outside of the norm, which I realized when I was a teenager, that helps me because when I want to do something, they'll just say that's her. That's who she is. They'll think it's weird, but I'm free.
But whoever said being weird was bad. Now, don't get me wrong. I want to clarify because you got some people that's weird and they like harming animals. That's a different type of weird.
I'm totally against that.
That's not okay.
You're not talking about me.
If you're trying to, no, I'm not. I'm saying people that are weird that like torturing things. That's different. So I want to clarify that I'm not saying all weird is okay, but
Yeah.
doing things outside of the norm or not following the crowd, like that's not a bad thing. But even if you think about historically, back in the day, people that I'm gonna say had gifts because the majority didn't understand the gifts. Those people were stoned to death. Those people were hung. Like there were extreme measures taken just because those people were different. And I feel like being different is not bad.
Right.
But oftentimes you will come across a group of people, almost like the mean girls in school, right? Like because you're not like us, you can't sit with us. So because you don't act like this, I don't want to talk to you. You find that even in adults, even in churches, even your job, you still will find it. Even in your family, right? You will
Yeah.
still find people that act that way because you don't do what I think you should do. I'm gonna make fun of you. But at what point did anyone really establish that you doing things differently or not doing things mainstream like everybody else, that was a bad thing?
For me, it was pretty early on. It was, why is she like this? Why did she do this? Why did she act like that? What like, but I also that adversity built me up to be who I am today. It helped me to establish the fact that I'm good being different. First of all, what's wrong with that?
Right.
Secondly, of all, I can look different, and whether you like it or not, I'm already free to do what's on my heart or in my mind to do. So like for me, I think it built me up, and I'm still growing. Like I said, when it was hearing cute, it was hearing that my business was cute. That was like, I need to go up, level up a little bit more for myself because I take it seriously. So I'm still evolving in that, and getting rid of those things that are inherently in me, or have been, conditioned in me over the years. Another point, you made another good point though that I wanted to touch on. You were saying you cannot explain vibrant colors to a blind man if they have never seen, if they've been blind. Like the only way they'd understand it is if they had been able to see before. And I think that actually feeds into people who have had their own dreams before. Like somebody seeing you try to do something new and different, or just trying to see you walk into business ownership that has they had that in them before, not only do they understand it, but that might encourage them to get back in it. So yeah, if I have family that have never been in business, they enjoyed their 9 to 5, retired from their 9 to 5, are still in it, and that is all that they have wanted. That's fine for them. But I decided I wanted something more, and that's good for me. I don't have to follow their mold, and they gonna think I'm weird anyway. So I'm already free.
It is okay because you have met your community of people.
Absolutely.
Your weird compliments are weird, so it
Yeah.
works. It works.
And what's really cool is we are all very different. We are not the same off the beaten path.
Right.
Like not at all.
At all.
But it works, it complements the relationship so well. I definitely think I flourish very well in this community, in the business partnership we're in, because hey, nobody's making me anything more than
Right.
I'm supposed to be, and nobody's trying to make me anything less. Have you ever had a time when adversity maybe not stopped you, but made you pause or slowed you down? Something you had to overcome, or someone's opinion you had to overcome?
Um, I would say yes. I don't think it's necessarily an opinion. Um, I think it was more so action. So like my husband and I are y'all have a lot of things in common when it comes to
I love that about her husband because he
stars,
understands.
it comes to stars and just being off the
We
beaten
can geek
path
out.
with some things. His overall interests um are different from mine. So when we started dating, like he introduced me to a lot of things that I would have never, watched before or even cared to know about. Um,
Yeah.
because he's a very attractive nerd. And I feel like when I was in school, like I made good grades. I graduated high school with honors. Um, Even when I was dispatching, like going through the academy for dispatching, I was a valedictorian. So academically, I've always like done well. So I
Mhm.
consider myself a nerd. My little brother told me I was not a nerd, but based on my grades, I would say I was a nerd, but I was a cute nerd. And I just so happened to marry a handsome nerd. So we complement each other. We do have some similarities, but we also have a lot of differences. So I feel like, just because our personalities are different, naturally we internalize things differently. And when I get excited about something, if I believe in it and I can see the possibilities, I'm just like, you know, I'm very passionate about it. And my
Yeah.
husband is very calm, cool, collected. Um, I didn't consider myself a hothead until we got together because he's very chill all the time. And he definitely do things that can like get under my skin and get on my nerves. But he's very just like even tempered for the most part. So I think throughout the time that we've been in business, there have been times where I have gotten distracted with him not responding the way I think he should. And that has been something that I've had to work on personally because he's allowed to respond however he wants to. Like his journey is his journey. And just because we're married does not mean we have to walk the path the same way. It doesn't mean that we're going to even be as interested in the same thing. So that's something that I've had to learn. And that's not a bad thing. It's not that it's impossible to build a business and you're not both going at it as, I guess, intentionally. Um, but I think it's just about how you see it. So I've had to focus on my journey and what my journey looks like. Things that are within my wheelhouse, things that are within my control, and not be distracted by the things that are not within my control. Because then that was causing, unnecessary disagreements. When
Yeah.
in reality, I've definitely heard older people say like, you gotta give it to God, let God take care of it. It's on God's timing. So I feel like um, when you allow the distraction of how somebody else is responding get in the way, you essentially are slowing God's process down, because God is going to allow them to either have they come to Jesus moment or give them some other instruction to go another way. But that's between them and God. That don't have nothing to do with you. And even with me being his wife, I have to learn how to not get in the way of how God is working with him or working on him, because that don't concern me. So I had to learn to go to God and basically say, like, God, what am I supposed to be doing? How can I help? What is my role right now? So that's not something that, of course, I knew when we first got into business. That's a lesson that I've had to learn along the way. But I feel like that's a good example, because oftentimes people think that, well, because this is my spouse, we got to be, seeing eye to eye, and we need to be in lock and step. And it's like, that's not always the case. If that happens, that's great. But if that don't happen, that's okay too. Like, nobody said that has to be the way that it comes together.
Good point. And we touched bases about um I think that was really good. First of all, not just you see adversity, you see everybody else as being the problem. You had to realize, hey, what can I do and how can I step it back so God can be God?
Right.
I've definitely had those moments. How even in your own business, you can step back and let God be God. Like, okay, I've done what I know how to do. I've done what I know I need to do. Don't overdo it. I don't know how you might overdo it. You can definitely wear yourself out. We're going to be talking about that this month for self-care. You want to pace yourself. You're not God, so you're not going to make everything happen. You're going to allow space and room for God to be God, for the people that he's bringing into your life, for the customers that he's bringing to your business. Don't stress about that. If he's put it in your heart, if he's put it on your mind, and he's giving you the avenue to do it, do what you know you need to do, and let God be God with the rest of it. So that was
Because you
good.
can't do better than him.
Mm-hmm. Say that again.
Because you can't do it better than him.
You cannot.
It's literally
Cannot.
impossible.
I know I can't.
I can't. And any time that I realize that I have gotten in his way, I immediately, my bad,
Mm,
forgive me. I didn't know what I was doing. Let me move. Because I was
yeah.
not trying to get in your way.
And that's good because speaking about all of that, we talked about you and I, how even Christ had adversity. He was the entire Lord. He was the Lord.
Oh, Lord.
And he went home to go visit his people, and he said he couldn't even do very many miracles. And he says only in his hometown, in their own hometown, is a prophet without honor. Like, so even biblically, I'll be adding my biblical pieces. Even biblically, God shows that even he had adversity. He had those who did not believe in him because they knew him from a different side of life. They knew one layer of him and
Right.
could not get past that one layer for them to get the blessing that they were going to receive. So
Yeah.
get out of God's way
Listen.
and let him bless your business.
Right. And I feel like, that goes hand in hand with, of course, what we're talking about as far as like the people in your household or in your family, in your circle. But oftentimes, your biggest support system will be strangers, people you don't know, people that you just met a month or two ago, that are shouting for you the loudest, that are encouraging you, that are supporting you, that are coming to your events or being your customer or telling other people about your products. Oftentimes, those would be the people that believe in you the most. And we expect for the people that we know to be the ones that believe in us the most, because you're like, we have this rapport. We've had this relationship since I was 5, since I was 12, all my life, whatever the case is. You think that a stranger is not going to support me like my own family will.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've learned since I've been in business is oftentimes it's the complete opposite. Strangers will, you will meet somebody today, and next week they'll be trying to either find ways to collaborate with you or find ways to get you more customers, find ways to get your business out in front of more people. trying to figure out ways just to introduce you to more people. And the people that know you won't buy your products, won't talk about it, won't even suggest someone else try a product. Even if you try to give them, which we've learned, you even try to give people stuff just to try for free, and they come up with an excuse. And something that I've learned is like, for those people that give excuses, what they're really saying is they don't want to support you and they don't want to come out and say that. And that's a tough pill to swallow, but it's reality. When you do encounter those people that don't want to support your business, that don't want to be a customer, that don't want to advocate for you, again, don't take it personal. Just go find somebody that will.
Yes.
But the
Don't
waste on
stop
taking
at
it
that
personal,
point.
right? The time you waste on taking it personal and being discouraged and being mad and want to go back and forth with the person about why they should support you, you could be out finding somebody that you won't have to beg to support you because it's only one you. And the people that are meant to be in your tribe and be a part of your circle, the people that want to support you will support you, and they won't make excuses for
So true.
it.
Definitely learned that in this process, and had to get out of my comfort zone because I'm not a talker.
Oh, she say,
I'm not a talker generally. So I definitely didn't want to speak or have to talk to or put myself out there with strangers. But when I learned that concept, it has helped me overcome that obstacle, overcome that challenge or hurdle in myself, is being able to talk to people outside of just my family who have been excited to support me.
right.
I've had people, I'm trying to check out a grocery store, and he's like, "Oh, what do you sell? Let me get your WhatsApp." So I was like, you prospecting me, you
Right.
sell me to
To
you.
you prospected me to be my customer. Yeah.
So yeah, get out of that comfort zone. Don't let that adversity stop you. Don't let that be what you think of as like, oh, this is my chance to stop, or this is telling me to stop. No, that's the adversity that's gonna hopefully build your muscles. The I'm gonna end. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and that's the adversity that's telling you your victory. You closer to your victory than you think.
Mm-hmm. Because I was going to say, and my last piece of that is the Bible says, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. So, especially in business ownership, you're going to have to get a new circle. That doesn't mean you have to get rid of your old circle. That's just not the circle that's going to go with you into business. So, yeah, you have to get around more people that are like minded. Go ahead.
Because
I'm gonna toss it to you to close it.
in order to grow, everybody can't go. Listen, that was the perfect ending, because that went right along with what you're saying. I definitely think that in order for you to elevate when it comes to ownership and becoming an entrepreneur or becoming a business owner, you do have to adapt to the concept. The people that you're closest to might not be the people you're closest to in their next phase of life, and that's okay. Like you just said, you don't have to let these people go. Nobody's saying that you have to completely cut them off. Um, Nobody's saying that these people are now your enemies. It's just saying that you're going to have to create boundaries to where you understand that in order for you to elevate, in order for you to become a successful business owner, in order for you to be able to walk in your purpose or pursue your dreams, you're going to have to get around people that can also see the vision. They don't have to see the exact same vision that you see, but they have to see something similar so that they can support it and they can back you in that process. Because having people that don't back you is ultimately gonna make you quit. It's gonna make you doubt yourself. It's gonna discourage you, and you need the support. You need people champion being a champion for you and your business. You need people that are going to lift you up, and having people constantly tear you down. You're human. At some point, that's gonna get to you. So you don't have to completely dismiss this group of people that you love, but you do have to find a new group of people that that have the same goals and are moving in the same direction. And
Mhm.
just learn that, like, okay, maybe once a month or once a quarter, I can hang out with the old people, because sometimes those people will bring the old version of you out, and that's the version of you that you don't.
Mhm.
So you don't want to keep getting around that
Mhm.
circle that's going to keep bringing you back and prevent you from moving forward. You want to be around the people that's going to help you move forward, and they want to move forward with you. So with that, I think this is a great place to wrap it on up.
That's my line.
Oh,
That's
well,
my line.
oh, well, let me toss it
I,
back to you. You can say that.
it's a great place to wrap up. No, you did. You ended on such a great note. Be careful with those that you're around, because honestly, ultimately, that's what you're feeding your brain. That's what you're feeding to your purpose. Is where your environment is either nurturing you or it's gonna tear you down eventually. So be careful with the people you're around. Don't let their opinion of you or your business stop you. And again, iron sharpens iron. We sharpen each other. So get in a circle of people that's going to sharpen you in developing your business. And that's all I want to say to that. You did an excellent job. Why don't you take us on out?
So that's finally my cue. If any of this information has been beneficial to you, you found it helpful, or you want to share with somebody else that you feel could benefit from it, by all means, like, comment, share, and subscribe. We would greatly appreciate it. And we look forward to talking to you next Monday. And see. I think it's because normally after I give the like, comment, share, subscribe, then it's and scene, right? But
Mm-hmm.
then once you throw a little extra in there, it's like, that's off script, man.
Look what went on script at the beginning.
This,
Now you want to be on
this
script?
whole episode, okay? This whole episode.
Now you want to do it?